Welcome back to Cyber Root Cause, your friendly cyber guide. In the last video, I promised we would deep dive into risk assessment, and that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to skip the complicated textbook stuff and let's walk through a complete practical example together. In this video, we are going to break down what is risk assessment. I'll show you what it is, walk through the 10 simple yet detailed steps, and apply everything to a real world example. Have you ever bought something from an online store and had that tiny thought, is my credit card information actually safe here? How do businesses, big or small, even know what to protect first? It all starts with one foundational process that is absolute bedrock of any good security program, a risk assessment, and today I am going to show you exactly how it is done. So what exactly is it? Think of it like this. Before you go on a vacation, you check the locks on your doors. Make sure the windows are closed and maybe set an alarm. You are identifying potential problems or risk before they happen. In cybersecurity, a risk assessment is the formal process of finding, analyzing, and evaluating risk to make a smart, informed decision about where to spend your efforts and money. Okay, let's make this real. Meet Byte Bazaar, a small online store. Let's perform a risk assessment for them step by step. Step 1 is where we identify the valuable things Byte Bazaar needs to protect. This includes their website, their customer data, their payment function, and of course, their reputation. Step 2 is where we identify threats, the bad things that could happen, and the vulnerabilities, the weakness that allow those threats to succeed. For example, a threat is a hacker, and a vulnerability is that Byte Bazaar software is outdated. Now, for the most important part of the process, step 3 is where we analyze the risk. This is where we ask two key questions: how likely is it to happen, and how bad would the impact be if it did? Let's break down how we determine that. First is likelihood. This is where the concept of vulnerability is so important. Likelihood isn't just a guess, it is determined by asking, is there a threat like an hacker, and is there a vulnerability like outdated software for that threat to target? The easier that vulnerability is to exploit, the higher the likelihood. For our Byte Bazaar example, the threat is the hacker and vulnerability is the outdated software. Because that vulnerability is well known, the likelihood is high. Second, impact. This measures the damage to the business. We think about financial loss, damage to their reputation, and operational disruption. For Byte Bazaar, a data breach would mean fines and a massive loss of customer trust. That's why we judge the impact as high. Once we have likelihood and impact, we can calculate the overall risk using a simple formula. A risk equals likelihood multiplied by the impact. This is often shown with a risk matrix. If likelihood is high and impact is high, the result is a critical risk. So now let's apply this to our two risks for Byte Bazaar. For risk 1, the outdated software, we said that the likelihood is high and the impact is high. That put it right in the red zone, a critical risk. For risk 2, the employee phishing, we said that the likelihood is medium, but the impact to the business is high. That still lands it in the orange zone as a high risk. Now we look at our scores and we prioritize. The critical risk of outdated software is clearly our number one priority. What do we actually do about it? There are four main ways. This includes treat, transfer, tolerate, and terminate. So, what would be the action plan for Byte Bazaar? For the first risk, we treat by updating the software immediately. And for the second risk, we also treat by implementing security awareness training for their staff. And we can also transfer some of the risk related to handling payments by using a trusted processor like Stripe or PayPal. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and I'll see you in the next video. Please like, share and subscribe.